Hey there, Ray Lattiser here as Dogwood Tales. I was having issues with my clothes washer not draining and giving me error messages, but before I forked out hundreds for a new washer, I figured it wouldn't hurt to at least try to fix it. So I disconnected the water and electrical supply and pulled the washer out of its parking space. Ew, how does that happen? Oh well, my wife would clean it up. It so happens that the hex bit socket on my drill was conveniently the right size for the hex head on these screws. Hold on to those screws. You're going to need them to put the washer back together. With all of these screws removed, I can now remove the back panel and the cross brace. I traced the drain pathway back to the front of the washer. This is where the water drains out of the washer tub, and this is the filter basket and the water pump next to it, conveniently located at the front of the washer. Now, on some models, the washer has a removable access panel at just the bottom front of the washer, but on mine I had to remove the entire front panel to get to it. Shame on you, Whirlpool. To get the front panel off, I had to remove the top panel and the control console first. Be gentle removing any wiring harnesses and make sure to note where they go. You don't want to cause a short or make more work for yourself. In order to remove the front panel from the washer, I have to remove the gasket from around the opening to the washer. I used a flathead screwdriver bit to gently pry off the retaining ring. And then I gently removed the gasket from the front panel. Take it easy so as to not tear the gasket. Now I'm ready to remove the screws holding on the front panel. I started with the screws at the base of the washer and then moved to the screws at the top. On my model washer, this wiring harness also contains the catch and lock to the front door. I found that the wiring harness was rather tough to unplug, so I figured it was easier and safer to simply remove the entire assembly from the front panel. And now the front panel is off, out of the way, finally. This here is the filter basket that was clogged and was the main issue to my washer not draining. Click on this link to view the video about that. To remove the gasket from the drum on this model, there is a retaining screw at the top of the washer drum. Simply loosen that with a screwdriver and set the retaining ring aside. Now I gently remove the gasket from the washer drum. Here is a shot of how nasty the inside of that gasket can get. Can you tell that I have a dog and a lot of girls in this house? Now I inspect as much as I can see between the drum and the tumbler for any debris or obstructions. Thankfully I had none. I also removed the drain hose so that I can give it some extra cleaning. I soaked the inside of the hose with Simple Green and flushed it out several times. Since I've gone this far, I am scrubbing the gasket. Is this really necessary? Maybe not. Next, I cleaned out the catch basket. Good enough. This part's very important. Don't forget to put it back in. Reassembly begins with putting this thing back on. Don't forget there is a top and a bottom to it. In this case here we've got this hose that feeds into this hole here, so that kind of indicates the top. Nothing but to do it. You kind of have to work that rubber gasket over the rim that it fits onto. Have to make sure it's seated on there all the way, or it's not going to seal correctly. Don't forget to put this thing back on. That keeps it tight. Start with the bottom of it. Feed it into the groove of the gasket. Tighten the screw back up at the top. Don't over torque it. After you get the screw on there fairly tight, just check and make sure the wire ring is still sitting inside the groove all the way around. Seal the inside of the gasket to the drum. When I'm working on the top part here, I tug down on it a little bit. I tug down and push it back a little bit. People dropping things in the kitchen above me. Make sure the tumbler still spins freely and doesn't rub weirdly against the rubber gasket. Actually, before I put this hose back in place, I noticed that the area up here where the dispenser tray goes in has a lot of sediment of soap and scum up in there. So I'm going to clean that out. And to do that, I situated this bucket here with these laundry baskets, kind of appropriate. And that way I'm going to clean that out, and the water is going to drain down into this hose and into the bucket. And I also put some water in the bucket there to help me kind of keep things flushed out. So I'm going to clean that up next. Don't forget to clean the top in here. There's a lot of stuff up there on mine anyway. Put this hose back in it. There's like a barb here to the hose. I want to make sure that's seated all the way inside there. Whoops, that slipped off. No problem. You also notice there's a rubber tab here that lines up with a slot on that. That lets you know you're in alignment. That will now dispense detergent from the tray down in the washer tub. Okay, now it's time to put this face back on. Keep in mind, this door does not hold closed because the catch to it is over here on this mechanism. Now, it's going to be very difficult to line up this mechanism and screw it into place when this door is hanging on, when this front panel is hanging on the front of the machine. So, that's how I kind of deal with it. Right? Grab this thing, line it up with the holes. In place there like that. Weight of it against my body. Start one of the screws by hand. Grab another screw. Start it by hand. Just get it lightly threaded. And drive it home. It's a metal screw going to a plastic fitting so it will strip out easily. So set your clutch setting to a low setting, like maybe 10. If I feel the need to, I can always touch that up again with a handheld driver. Put this back in place now. Alright, put this back up onto the positive stops, positive poles. Alright, screw this back into place. Now for the fun part. That's putting this thing back into place. This is where a good deal of patience comes in handy. Pull this gasket out so it seats over the front of the front panel. And there's a ridge here. This gasket seats right over that. Now, this thing can be frustrating to deal with. Put this on there so it seats inside the groove of the gasket, and it holds it into the groove of the front panel. For me, reinstalling this retaining ring is nothing less than a challenge in saintly patience, which I have none. Here is a time lapse of the 10 to 15 minutes it took me trying to put this stupid thing back on. I ended up using some spring clamps to assist me. If you don't have any, get some. Down there most of the way, like so. Put this clamp down here and help pull that in place there. I've seen other videos show how to put these things on with a lot of ease. It doesn't work that way for me. Kind of pinch my skin doing it, but it's on. Watch it go bling! Alright, it's on. Now to put the rest back together. Put this control panel back on. Feed the wire through. Plug this back in here. Okay. Always have an extra screw somehow. Up into the holes down here at the bottom, towards the bottom. Line those up. Put them into place. I got the top of the panel screwed into place, yet this is how far it is out of square because the whole cabinet got twisted while working on it and it shifted around. So I just got to move it back. Having to push on the entire cabinet so it'll come back to square.
We hope you found this video helpful. Thanks for watching. Please don't forget to like and subscribe.